Jay, this isn't how forced perspective works. I'm the smaller guy. I'm supposed to be in front. Did you not learn anything from who did that?
I don't know, but you obviously went to some sort of film school, obviously.
Film Riot, subscribe on YouTube.
Maybe not YouTube school, because the perspective for the Wangers table, it's all kinds of crazy. It's light in the front, it's dark in the back. You got little Cody in the back.
The Wanger table is in like where they record Wanger's show, or
no,
the producers table of the live
producers
show?
Table, the Wangers section. You got Copser and his big old head up front, right in there, taking up all the camera space, and
it's mainly his shoulders, honestly. But
it really is. He's a little cannonball. That one. Did you listen to him on Knapsack Files?
No, you told me to, and
it was a good episode.
Yeah,
I didn't listen to his Beardo. Did he do Beardo? I'm assuming he did.
No. I wanted to address the camera. Yeah, we've been talking about doing video. It's not really the setup we aspire to, but it's something. This is how.
Please buy our shirt, sitesoundpod.com.
This is how you mainly do pre-schmo, which has been great. So yeah, we figured we'd do it
my
this way.
YouTube videos from the opposite angle. So
Yeah.
if you guys are listening to us in podcast form, we apologize for all of the visual references that we're going to make.
There's not a lot to say. We got a blanket covering the window behind us. I'm smaller than Jay.
Can I
in
mention
real life and in the shot?
Can I mention something as well, just while we're on this topic?
You better make it quick. Those fans are wanting our theme song to play.
I know. So before we decided to do all of this, after we kind of said, let's do video this week, I had all of these great ideas of things to do. Like, I wanted to do graphics. I wanted to get actual clips to play over while we're talking and all this stuff. And then I remember a little message from Kristian the other day about wanting to get the show out a day earlier. And I don't even know if I have time to do the editing for this video portion.
I was going to say, if you want to add quotes, music, feel free to edit this video, because I'm not doing it. I think
we're about efficiency here.
I might add the thumbnail in the frame for the theme song, and then it'll come right back to this, and that's the most you're going to get out of me for this video.
By the end of the video, the audio and the video are going to be so non-synced together. We're just going to be like, look like we're puppets.
Yeah,
like,
we're recording this on a cell phone. That's what's
right.
doing the thing. So yeah, sometimes cell phones there's latency issues, there's frame rate issues and things like that, and the audio gets out of sync. But the whole point is to prevent you guys from actually knowing it, due to the movie magic that I learned at film school, Jay.
Did you have anything you wanted to get into before people start commenting about how we're just rambling and they came here to hear about the live show?
Actually, yeah. So
okay.
I want people to know that I don't. You threw the cup. Right?
It looks like it's coming out of. Okay, sorry. We're new to this.
What is this? Birth to the Future. Back on track. The discussions we had last week, I think we talked a little bit about how Schmoeville responds to podcasts, like if they listen to other podcasts on other networks. That is a discussion that's centered around like Schmoeville. That's something that is not only relevant, but the original version of the show, the Schmoeville podcast, used to do that kind of stuff. So that conversation fits, and I'm saying it does.
You guys used to wait until like an hour into the show before you even got into the live show stuff.
Okay, so that's an even better point. I was talking about like the Paul Wolf days, where we would kind of implement fan discussion, like how fans might react to certain things, and we just talk about it from our perspective. And then there was a version of this podcast that was 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And
so chill out. You guys
I'm just saying, a fair criticism is they want us to get into the show quicker. That's fine. The theme song will play right after I'm done with this vocal paragraph. But
the complaints also came from a very small number of people,
sure,
too.
But
they can ruin the whole dish.
But they also came from people who listen to us every week.
That's right.
So
we're looking at you.
The last thing I want to say is, if you feel like we're talking about too much
Chris
sight and
Woodburn.
sound, if you think we're talking too much about sight and sound, that's fine. We can, mention the t-shirts at the top. We'll plug it at the end of the show. But sight and sound is, whether other people acknowledge it on the network or not, is a part of SK Plus. It's a part of the YouTube channel, and
we're fired.
We're the only ones holding it up. So, God.
Oh, you mean Sight and Sound?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant the only ones holding up SK Plus.
No.
There's a lot of people.
No, I would never say that. We're the only ones that hold up Sight and Sound. So forgive us for talking about the other show that we host. That's all I'll say. I also have another rant for Schmoeville on the other side of that theme song. But that one's lighter, and it's part of what you want me to do. But anyway, that's all I got. You wanna stop?
You wanna hit the music? Here we go.
Welcome to After Schmoe, your favorite after show for the Schmoes Know Show. I'm Ryan Snelling.
My name's Johnny McRambler. Jaye Williams was fired last week for talking too much BS. What's going on, man?
Oh, I'm doing okay.
You wearing your green shirt just like
Kristian
to fit in with the rest of them who all had it. Brett, Kristian, and Cobster all were wearing green shirts. I don't wear green. I wear muted tones.
I do. I'm glad you brought up wardrobe. I want to talk about this bad boy right here for a second.
You want to talk about Finstock Yeezys or my NMDs, which you can see on the video portion?
We're not going to acknowledge the camera. Jesus Christ. You're playing to the camera, Jay. I want to talk about
I literally can't put my shoe back on.
I want to talk about my Dodgers hat because it reminds me of a little old video from last week. Did you see the Schmoes Know behind the scenes with Beardo and his Yankee hat?
I did see that.
So I want your take on that whole conversation. But here's what I'll say. I wore a Yankee hat, and you knew me in my prime, Jay.
I took pictures of you as a child.
Yeah, when I was in a band, I wore a Yankee hat. That was part of my signature because of Fred Durst. And I wanted to have a stamp. Some kind of, I wanted to be somebody.
Also went shopping with you for your new hat. Remember?
For the LA hat.
Yeah.
So basically.
The one you're wearing, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I wore a Yankees hat for years. And I recently retired it because I love California, Jay. I've never been a day in my life in California. I belong there. It's so much better than Kentucky.
Show me your background on your phone. For the people listening, he has the California flag on his phone. I don't know if you can see it. Whatever. Anyways.
So I went with the California team, but I also retired it because there will be a day where I'm on the Schmoedown, where I am face to face with Kristian HARLOFF, and I can't be wearing my Yankees hat. I just decided.
Can I get your opinion? Is it more likely that your first appearance, alleged? I mean, I'm really playing into this dream that you have. Will it be on the Schmoedown or will it be on the live show proper? Which is more likely?
Oh, the live show is more
100%.
likely. I would be on the live show 100%. If I just went to California. But I'm making an official announcement right here, and I'm being dead serious when I say this. I'm going to tell I don't need to tell Kristian because he's watching or listening to this. I am...
Of course, 100% on that too.
I am studying so that I can be a part of the inner geekdom.
Really?
Yes.
So
I am being dead serious when I say that.
I sat down and watched the 5-way this week with my girlfriend. More on her later.
You had a 5-way with your girlfriend.
That's right. And sat down and watched it, and I thought this will be good for her. She's into things like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and comic book stuff. The inner geekdom was fucking hard. It was super difficult. I mean,
you think so? You thought it was difficult?
Well, here's the thing. I realized not only do I not know anything about Lord of the Rings, I don't think I really give a shit about Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Great movies.
But you're not a diehard fan. You're not a inner geekdom for
It's got a giant bird. I don't like birds. They terrify me.
You don't care for the birds.
T-shirt coming soon.
So anyway, I feel like we're having like 3 conversations in one. But anyway, if there was a way that I could participate in the Schmoedown, it's via Inner Geekdom or via team match. I wouldn't be a good singles player. But I feel like Inner Geekdom is the easiest thing to study for. You already know what your categories are.
Absolutely.
And the majority of those categories I'm great at. I mean, based on Ellis and Kristian's reaction alone, I could probably take them to town.
What was the name of some random PM personal assistant's pony? That was crazy. Bill the pony. You remember that?
I believe the question was what horse was sent back to wherever, not some personal assistant, whatever the hell you said.
I know, but it was random.
Okay. So anyway, where were we going? Oh, the hat. So I wanted to defend Beardo. I am all about wearing a Yankees hat when you don't have any business wearing a Yankees hat. However, I do find it interesting that he chose to wear a Yankees hat amongst Kristian HARLOFF and Perry, who are New York natives, someone who is already wearing the Yankees hat in the studio. So I just thought it was funny that I would consciously, and I've never even met Kristian in person, I'm consciously preparing so that I don't have to wear a Yankees hat in his presence, and he has chosen to do the exact opposite. I would be self-conscious of that, and I find that very strange.
Well, it's a fashion thing,
but
right? The New York Yankees hat is a fashion thing, just like if you go to buy a Hurley T-shirt or something like that, or Hollister, it's all California decked out. It's just a way of life type of thing. It isn't
the Yankees of the Yankees hat that makes it a fashion thing. It can be any baseball hat.
If you're going to get a baseball hat, if you're going to get a cap, a ball cap, and you want it to have an identifiable logo on it or something like that, I'm a Red Sox fan. I have a Red Sox hat.
Literally say that about any team except.
Well, the New York Yankees are one of the biggest sporting franchises in the entire world.
Sure, I wore the Yankees hat.
Absolutely,
but I'm just saying he liked the hat. What's to say you're not going to like any other team's hat, especially if you wanted it to be navy? 90% of Major League Baseball teams' colors are just a navy blue, a royal blue, and red.
It's a basic decision. It's like ordering the pepperoni pizza.
Or with pineapple.
Not with pineapple. That would be like the Toronto Blue Jays or the Baltimore Orioles.
So
why are there so many birds in baseball?
You're on Beardo's side. And you like, what do you think about
I just think it's not that big of a deal. I think everybody should just chill the hell out. I mean, wear whatever the hell you want to wear.
Hold on, not everybody. You're talking to Kristian. Kristian should chill out. He was the one that addressed it.
Absolutely. He's wound a little tightly.
We got more on Kristian later.
Yeah, I think we should just let's move on. Before we go any further, I just realized something. I have no way of reading my notes. I take my notes on my phone, and we're filming on my phone. SightSoundPod.com to buy those T-shirts so that we can buy a new camera.
That's okay.
I'll figure out a way. Maybe we'll pause and edit, and I'll send them to myself.
Well,
it's
about that time, Jay, because I'm ready to move into the live show, I think.
Okay. Give me your best Mark Ellis transition into the notes. He's really got to think about this one.
I don't remember what we were talking about beforehand.
Not my problem.
Much like Joe Torre would give Derek Jeter some notes.
So now we have to figure out some interesting way to get into these because you absolutely failed at the transition, the segue. You didn't go to segue college.
Well, the Joe Torre thing was fire, but I say it. Let's go ahead and just introduce 286 DC movie preview. I've said it before a lot on previous episodes of the show. Something might come up, and I'll just kind of preface by saying this might be a shorter episode. And it usually ends up being the exact same length as every other show that we've ever done.
Of course. I'm a podcast bro. You're the naysayer.
This episode of After Schmoe might as well be the shortest in existence because I just have one thing to say about it. It was fucking fire. Mic drop. That's it for After Schmoe. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
I actually have so much to talk about on this.
Oh well, okay.
So much speculation. I want to dig deep into the psychology, the sociology of this episode. Really get into it here.
I want to lay out sort of my experience with this episode of the show. So I watched.
We're transitioning to my notes.
I'm getting there. Jesus Christ.
Taking the long way around.
Ryan Snelling's the host of After Schmoe. Ryan Snelling's in charge of After Schmoe. You think I don't know what the hell I'm doing?
You're just taking the long way around.
I've got some stuff I want to talk about.
The scenic route.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to take a vape.
Yeah, go ahead and vape. Let me talk. So my experience with the show, it came on an hour earlier, as we all know. I watched the very tail end of your pre-schmo, like I do every week. I got a couple comments in as you were saying goodbye. I don't even know if you saw them.
Goodbye.
But I watched probably the first 20 to 30 minutes of the live show. Had to leave, and I went to go see Wonder Woman, which was excellent.
Yes.
I came back with the knowledge. Well, we'll get into why exactly this episode was amazing. Everyone already knows why.
Do you think there's anybody that listens to After Schmoe before they watch the live show?
No, that'd be ludicrous.
If you're one of those people out there,
maybe
one, what the hell's wrong with
maybe
you?
Brett Sheridan.
2, spoiler alert. I mean, that's as best as I could say.
So anyway, I was so happy about watching the live show. I was thinking about it during Wonder Woman. I mean, I was enjoying Wonder Woman, but still thinking about getting to go home and watch the live show. I was so happy that I didn't take any notes. Like, I don't have any notes prepared. You're going to have to lead the show or drive the show. Don't I do that every week?
Damn it. No, I actually really rely on you. Like, I'm like,
no,
I have terrible CT.
I have nothing because I was so excited. I drank while watching the live show and didn't even think about
Hashtag transparency. Hashtag Wine Wednesday.
I was just so, it was a really, really great night. But we'll get into it right here, right now. Let's transition. We like to have Jaye Williams read off his stream of consciousness notes that he took during the episode. Jaye Williams, take it away.
These are your Jaye Williams stream of consciousness notes brought to you by sightsoundpod.com. Oh boy, this is the NWO takeover. I have been waiting for this. Kayla, my girlfriend, why is he so orange? Mark needs to not wear a hat more often. He's got some nice hair. Oh my fucking God. When Finstock breaks character to give you shit, you know you fucked up. Thank God someone made fun of David Griffin's laugh. Mark and Kristian are stealing the show. This is what it's about. I'm getting a little choked up. Laugh my ass off. Finstock is wearing Yeezys. Who the hell is Luke Longley? No idea who that is. Quote, Kristian is confrontational. My girlfriend. I stopped at break to go get ice cream. Just a little note.
Take that, Copster.
My girlfriend as well. Why are they talking about me on Schmoes? No, I don't even listen to After Schmoe. This 89 Batman talk is infuriating me. They did the thing again with the phone calls, but I'll allow it considering they had call-ins earlier. I feel like we need to dedicate a considerable amount of time talking about the future of this show. And that is your Jaye Williams stream of consciousness notes brought to you by sightsoundpod.com. Your thoughts?
For one, this show was already going to be amazing to me.
What's that? This show?
No. Well, yes.
Okay.
This show is always
That's good.
amazing.
Glad to see her finally.
Whether people like it or
Feeling
not.
positive.
This show was always going to be great because I was so excited to see a Finstock takeover show. My God.
I was
pumped.
too.
Oh my God.
I was too, but the longer it went on, the more I wanted it to end very quickly.
Why?
Yeah. It just
because JTE was bringing it down.
It was
should have been entirely about Finstock.
It was out of control, and which is great. You want that. We talk about that all the time. But I felt terrible for the podcast listeners because I listened to a lot of stuff on the Schmoes Know podcast feed. I listened to a lot of Collider stuff, almost all Collider stuff on the podcast feed, and they were
even
talking,
the Schmoedown.
They were talking over each other. I was channeling my inner Cobster anger.
Well, I hate that for you because I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I still love it. I still think it's great.
I did think it was clunky, but it's one of those.
Oh my God.
It was a little clunky because I didn't understand what Ellis was doing, like the whole excuse, turn it around, come back. I thought that was a little bit clunky.
I took something out of my notes, and we need to talk about it for one quick second.
Okay.
When I saw who was on the show and all of the empty seats, I got so pissed off for a second because we talked about it before here on After Schmoe that we felt like from time to time, not accusing anybody of anything, whatever.
Emma 5.
That maybe the live show has taken a little bit of a backseat in terms of priority. We talked about Ken not delivering the news and people being a little bit low energy and all this stuff. Kristian not being on the show. Obviously, he's got priorities, etc. And when I saw that ragtag group of people, even though I love them, but the fact that there weren't as many people there, I thought, is this what it's come to? I thought, is this what it's come to? The fact that we're having to sort of piecemeal a group of individuals together. Piecemeal? Piecemeal? Yeah. Like piece things together.
Like Meek Mill?
Like Meek Mill. Like Meek Mill. R.I.P. He's not dead, but Drake ruined his career. Anyways, I was just like, is this what it's come to? The fact that we have to plead people to be on the show, get Finstock to come in without a shirt. Obviously,
it's amazing.
Obviously, that was alleviated, not just as the show went on, but in general, I sort of understood finally this was the NWO takeover moment for the Schmoes No Show.
It was.
Yeah. For a short period of time.
But anyway, I guess my final point was that it was clunky, but it doesn't matter. I don't really care. I mean, I didn't even really need to say it on After Schmoe that I thought that, because truly it was just a bit of fun and
it's a lot of fun.
A bit of really interesting build up to what we eventually got.
That frustration that I felt for a second, what I caught myself being a little bit of a dong. The people in the comments like, well, why don't they just talk about Schmoedown all the time? Why don't they just talk about Star Wars?
Well, they're not going to be talking about Schmoedown anymore because I guess the Schmoedown is in trouble.
Why is that?
I assume that the Schmoedown is tanking now that Kristian's crawling back to the left. Anyway, I wanted to make that joke for the past 24 hours.
Kristian coming... Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sure we'll get into it.
Kristian HARLOFF coming back to the Schmoes No Show not only is the epicenter as to why this episode was amazing.
We have to talk about Mark coming back first, because Mark, they played it up that Mark wasn't going to be on the show. He sent out a tweet that he wasn't going to be on the show, that Ken was going to be hosting. When he came out of the curtains, were you surprised?
Like I said, that was the clunky part, because I was at that point, I was thinking, like, why on earth would Mark Ellis ever skip the Schmoes No live show to go to a movie screening, let alone the 47 meters down?
Yeah.
Like, the more that unfolded...
You didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. I knew that it was kayfabe or whatever that word is.
Kevin Federline.
I wasn't, like, emotionally involved in, like, oh, yes, Mark's back. There was never that. I just kind of thought it was funny. I went along with it.
Okay. When he started to hint that he had somebody for the open chair, did you think, or did you know, did you have a guess that it could be Kristian?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. I thought to myself, Kristian might be coming back here. I had that notion. I knew, and we can get into it when we talk about him actually coming onto the show, but when he popped out of the curtain, even though I had a hunch that he was going to be on the show, I was laying in bed watching the show.
Hell yes.
And I freaked the fuck out. I mean, literally, I screamed. I scared my dogs. It was great. It was a fucking great moment.
You're about to bring me to tears.
Oh my God. Here we go.
It was emotional. I was so happy. I was really, really happy.
You have been known to choke up a little bit. What movie did you cry at the other day that we watched?
It was The Leftovers.
Oh, it was The Leftovers. That was a movie. More on that later, too. So,
really?
Yeah.
Are we talking Leftovers?
We got to talk about Kristian and not loving it.
What? I mean, okay. I went back and I was checking on my Instagram page because people tell me that my Instagram profile is very
Here we go.
Watchable, readable, lookable. I don't know what
browsable,
lurkable. Yeah. And I found the picture, the screen cap that I took the week of Kristian's send-off a few months back. And I was emotional on that as well, as you can imagine.
I can believe that.
And I thought about that the other day. And again, it just caught me off guard. I was so happy, so surprised. His entrance was great. His rock bit.
I got more of a Sting vibe, but go ahead.
Everything about it, him coming in, he had so much built up, and kind of going off of what Kayla said in your notes, how he was confrontational. He had so much built up in his body. I mean, he came out and just immediately went after JTE and just hammered that in with the Wonder Woman review.
Okay. So before we get into that, because that's worth talking about for sure, because it was great. Kristian coming back to this show was a huge shock, obviously, but he has literally spent the last few months since his departure being berated with people. Being berated with people asking him when is he coming back. The speculation, the show, a lot of this show's entertainment has been built on the fact of speculating when he's going to come back. In fact, probably our most used bit is like poking fun at Kristian because he's not there. We sort of said that he's not there, and that gives us sort of free reign to sort of do that. And we're still going to do it. But regardless, I believed it, man. I believed it. I thought it was going to be a while. I mean, he even talked about it on Beardo's podcast that he wasn't going to be back anytime soon. So the fact that he did it, the fact that he pulled the trigger, I want to talk about the future a little bit later. But I got more of a Sting vibe because of, you talked about The Rock, and obviously came into The Rock's music with the sunglasses. But I got a Sting vibe because of the NWO takeover, because we all know, and I think the reason he came back this week was because we outed him. We outed him last week, talking about he's been there the entire time, lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings, telling people what to do.
Brett is clearly looking at him off camera, talking about hanging the posters.
Absolutely. That was one of my reasons. Also, because you have always told me that the only way Kristian Harloff would come on this show is if it was doing terrible enough so that he would have to save it. I think this could also be the next best thing, that he had to come onto the live show to help our ratings.
You know what? I might call him at the end of the show.
Kristian, is everything okay?
You want me to call him?
No, don't call him right now. We have a lot to get through.
Oh, that's true. We're doing a show. Did you just low-key criticize the Schmoes No Show for getting lower ratings?
No, I'm talking about our show.
Oh.
I'm talking about our show.
Oh, because he was plugging us so much.
Yeah, he tried to get us to put the show out a day early. He's trying to get us to do all these things so that, it'll help the ratings. It'll help the ratings. Da-da-da-da. Well, they won't listen to me. I'll just have to give them something to talk about. We know Kristian brings ratings. So does Finstock. Both of them together. I'm sure our show's going to do fantastic. Sorry, Rundown, but
we got to make sure that they're in the thumbnail. Kristian and Finstock.
No, it's going to be Kristian and Mark. 100%.
It's
been determined.
Do an opaque Finstock.
You know what I might do? I might put Kristian and Mark, and then I might put you and I above them. Kind of faded out. Kind of faded out, like we're
lurking behind them,
looming over them, like we're next.
So anyway, Kristian came in. And he had so much built up. I mean, it was effortless. I mean, he just went right back into the ways of Kristian Harloff. He was confrontational. He was yelling. The speed at which this show moved. This is not something I usually talk about. Some Schmoes No Show episodes move slower than others.
Yeah.
This one was lightning quick.
Electric.
This was the fastest 2 hours of the Schmoes No Show that I think I've seen since I've been watching the show.
I don't want to sit here and give Kristian all the credit. I think it would be very easy to say, oh, this show was amazing, the comeback, all of this stuff. Kristian coming back into the show. But in my opinion, I think as soon as Kristian came out of that curtain, Mark turned on like a light bulb, because the show, the way it's been going on since we've been following it, has been great. It has been fantastic. It has its own life. But the fact that he had his partner in crime back, the fact that they now, the cues, they could hit every single cue from one another and feed off of one another, the energy. And I thought it was fantastic. And not only that, but I was kind of worried, like, okay, who's the host here? Who's the guy leading? Kristian sort of took a page out of Mark's book later on in the show by getting getting everybody's feedback, so to speak. Not that he hadn't done that in the past, but that's one thing that he liked about Mark hosting the show. I felt like it was a very, it was a group effort, so to speak.
Here's my take on Ellis. Ellis was different. And I'm not saying he was different from when he hosts the show. He was different than when him and Kristian did it just a few months back.
I agree.
Ellis was angrier. I don't know if you picked up on it, but I think Ellis had some negativity built up from Kristian being gone. And it goes back to a comment where Kristian was giving Ellis a lot of credit and complimenting him for how well he's done the show. And Ellis made a quick comment. And you can take it as just a joke because it was sort of the first time that I noticed it. And that's fine. But he said something like, yeah, we've just been doing the show. You can take that as you will. Yeah. But that kind of snarkiness kept going throughout the show. Ellis was more quick-tempered than usual. And I thought he was all around more angry. And again, you can take it as like a light angry, like a joking angry, but it felt like he wasn't taking shit and that he was being a little more quick on the trigger, even to Kristian a little bit.
Maybe it's some leftover resentment towards the beef that was started between him and Makuga from last week.
Maybe.
Not really.
I'm genuinely saying this. I think that Ellis was...
It's an interesting point.
I think that Ellis was weird towards Kristian, and it bled to everybody else.
I think you're picking up on something interesting that might have some validity to it, but I don't know if it's directed.
No one else will agree, and I'll hear about it in the comment section.
I don't know if it's pointed in the right direction. I think more than anything, think about making sure and being the figurehead of that show, being the guy that's supposed to make sure that the boat is moving in the right direction and all of that stuff. So think about all the pressure that then was sort of relieved off of him and all of the... So we've gotten host Ellis for the last few months, and that's fantastic. He does a great job at it. But to now sort of have a little bit more room to be free, a little bit more room to throw those jabs here and there, I think we saw some of the best version of both of them in this episode because Mark has learned from doing the show, I think, by himself, as a host for the last few months. Now he's got that experience, that sort of edge. I think this is the best. I think this is the best of everything, and I think the future is bright.
I'm not saying that Ellis wasn't good.
Of course.
I just think he came with attitude. And it made it different. But, I mean, I've already said a million times how great this episode was, so I don't want anybody to think that this is like a harsh criticism. This episode, again, was lightning in a bottle.
It also had to do with the fact, too, of some of the people who were also on the show.
You know what this episode did not need? Josh Makuga.
Come on. Here's what I'll say. I want to say this. We've been talking about it, and Schmoeville has been talking about it for a long time. They want Grace Hancock on the show. We got her debut.
Was she on the show?
Great. Fantastic to be on the show. A tough show to make your debut on. I mean, so much of the show was about this comeback, sort of reuniting all this stuff. And we've talked about it before, too. People's first time on the show, they have a hard time sometimes. Not that she was bad by any means, but I'm just saying that they have a hard time seeing where they fit in, trying to get their points in. Hell, even Kim had a hard time talking most of the episode.
And we talk about that a lot, and we don't really need to reiterate on ourselves. It's a valid point because I actually agree with you, but we talk about that on any other Schmoes No show. This was the show where Kristian HARLOFF came back. This was the takeover of JTE and Finstock. All that stuff.
All those people together again for the first time in a really long time.
Talk about, they don't even see each other in the studio when the cameras are off.
You also have to think, too, that not only was it Kristian's first time back, not only was it Kristian, Mark, JT, Finstock, Ken, and the Wangers as well, but it also was their first time back with the couch all together. It was the first time back with the phone lines all together, and all of those things came up. And I like that. I like the fact that they were sort of having fun. Like, no, you go sit on the couch. Cobster, open the phone lines. Ken, give us the news. I mean, he was going fucking nuts at one point. He was like, let's go. Get your dicks out.
I love the joke where I think it was Ken that said, talking about how Kristian's wife doesn't know what it means when he's like, honey, open up the phone lines. Or he said sitting at home. I tell you that sometimes. He explained his home life. And when he explained it on this show, it didn't sound like anything that would prevent him from being on the live show. I'm just saying, it didn't.
Well, he said it again, and it also reinforced, well, my daughter usually goes to bed. My wife is in bed. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, shh, Schmoeville's going to erupt.
I mean, sometimes people just need to take vacations.
I know. Sure.
Or staycation.
Hey, that's fine. All good. I do want to talk about the phone lines.
Let's talk about the phone lines.
And I teased it at the beginning of the episode. I've got something for Schmoeville, the community, Jay.
Go for it.
I think Schmoeville should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm being serious here. I'm being totally serious, okay? How are you going to hog the phone lines, finally get your chance in the spotlight on the show, and not have anything to say? I have been trying to call in.
Brian Davids.
I have been trying to call in to the Schmoes Know Live show for months. For months, Jay. I have had a rehearsed bit, a sketch prepared. I know exactly what I'm going to say line by line.
Why don't you just tell Cobster that you're going to call in?
And some alternate lines, depending on the improvisation between me and Ellis, of course, because me and Ellis are comedy gold when we do things together.
Why do you need to call in and take up other people's time? You could just call them anytime you want.
Because I would do better than all of these people. They freeze. These people are freezing.
Well, not everybody has a podcast. So.
I dialed that phone line number so many times. I might be able to pull it up on my phone.
Well, now, I mean, you were in Wonder Woman this week, so.
I did it on the way to Wonder Woman, which was about a 15-minute drive. So for 15 straight minutes, I dialed. The second I first heard that busy tone, I hung up and did it again. How many times can you do that in 15 minutes? A lot. A lot.
Were you driving?
Yes, I was driving.
That's not safe.
73 times. And you can confirm. That's what it says. Oh, I'm not going to show you. But you can confirm that their number is 73 times.
Well, maybe they've blocked you.
That's fucking nuts.
They don't want to have another Brian Davids situation.
I just think, Schmoeville, look, just listen to Jay. We talked about it on previous episodes of After Schmoe. Granted,
yeah, guys,
the majority of you don't listen to our show in the community, but we've even given you ideas on how to utilize your phone calls. So
even Christina, aka Kinetic Fox, had something to say about that. I talk about this on Pre-Schmoe all the time. The Jaye Williams phone revolution about don't stand for this whole thing where somebody calls it, guys, we're going to open the lines. Who do we got? Joe from New Mexico. All right, we'll see you later. And it's like, I just tried for an hour to call into the show, and you just had me say someone's name. And not to stand for it. Don't stand for it. Change the subject, do something else, throw the show off the rails, whatever. But Christina did have a good point. She said, no offense, but sometimes when people call in, they have no idea what to say. And I was like, that's kind of a good point. You guys got to step up your games a little bit.
Actually, you know what I've done? Every time that I've attempted to call into the show, I have muted the TV. Well, I mean, you want to mute the TV anyway. That way it doesn't interfere when you're actually on the call. But I've also just left the room. That way I didn't have any sense of where the conversation was going or what they were talking about previously.
Right.
Like, I actually want to call in and just go with it. And that's been my approach every time. Like I said, I was calling a million times, driving to see Wonder Woman. I had no idea where they were in the show other than that they had just opened the phone lines. But yeah, you're right. Not everybody has a podcast. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to dial in, have something.
Yeah.
Have something.
Yeah, you gotta figure out what you're gonna talk about. I mean, especially at the moment where they did open it up for a little bit more of a conversational type of thing. They weren't really talking about anything. I mean, I guess it is new. You know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe people aren't used to having the fans be the conversation starter, so to speak.
I'm just wondering, like, if you don't have anything and you think that you might freeze if you're that type of personality, why are you doing it to begin with? Like, if I got a phone call in on the live show,
just want to talk to Daddy Harloff and Uncle Mark.
That's fine. Ask him questions. If you want to ask Kristian.
Kristian, who is Snoke?
I just did the Makuga. Did you not see me?
Do you want to do I want you to do your impression of Josh Makuga and Emma Fife. All right, give me your Josh Makuga in 3, 2, 1.
So obviously, Gal Gadot.
It's Gadot.
People were wondering if she was going to pull off the Wonder Woman.
For those listening, just go watch it. All right, and now your Emma Fife in 3, 2, 1. So on today's show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about Schmoes Know live show, and it's just going to be a great time. Don't you think it's going to be a great time?
Yeah, actually, not just great. I think super great.
Okay, that's enough. What a terrible bit. What was wrong with Ken?
It's Gal Gadot.
What was wrong with Ken on this episode? Why was he asleep?
The impression was better off camera.
It was better. I told you the camera changes you.
I was thinking too hard.
God.
What were we talking about before this? Oh, anyway, just have something to say. Jesus. Have something to say on the phone.
I want to ask you this question. We've talked before on this show about what it's like at Collider. Like, we know they're laid back. They like to, film behind the scenes stuff and play beer pong. But sometimes the cameras aren't rolling, and I'm very curious to know, like, what the management sort of lifestyle is. I mean, if it's like, is John Campea walking around, like, checking to see if everybody's getting their work done?
He's, like, in the background just, like, scouring the place.
He's in the background, like, Arrival sucks. That's my John Campea impression. Arrival? Flop at the box office.
But nobody can hear him because he has those, like, ultra classic white Reebok shoes that look like they're wrestling shoes.
Oh, that sound like you're walking on clouds?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Those, like, grandpa white classic Reeboks.
They're brand new, but the leather is creased because it's so soft. Anyways, and then Kristian, we all know he's some sort of boss now, whatever he does.
Yeah, he's some company man over there.
And he got on people on the live show this week for being on their phones, for texting. I like it. I don't want to stand for it. Get off your fucking phones.
So that's all well and good. That's fine. I mean, we've criticized.
Do you text at work?
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Me too. All the time. We're typically texting each other.
We've criticized Makuga for watching television on the live show when he's there.
Is that what Kristian's going to be doing now?
Kristian.
Since he loves TV now?
Here's what I'll say. I'm going to have to throw Kristian under the bus.
Hashtag leftovers for now.
And I hate to do this to Kristian because I love him. But he was on Movie Talk yesterday, Wednesday, while I'm watching Movie Talk. I'm watching
him live.
I'm watching it live. In my room, I get a text from Kristian telling me that The Mummy isn't good. I didn't even prompt the conversation. He just texted me, said, yeah, the Rotten Tomato score is right about The Mummy.
He probably realized he wasn't under embargo anymore.
And I texted it back, like, I responded normally, like, yeah, I know it sucks. I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, if anybody doesn't know. I was really looking forward to The Mummy. And I realized that I texted him back that I'm watching the person on the fucking TV that I've got in front of me. And I was like, wait a minute. Why are you texting me about The Mummy?
Kristian Harloff should be ashamed of himself.
I mean, it was so dumb.
Get off your phone.
I messaged you. I was like, Jay, are you watching Movie Talk? Because
I was working. So
Kristian just texted me on air. I was like, do your job. We shouldn't have had to talk about this on After Schmoe.
Be the 3,000th person to tell me what you think about Wonder Woman. All right, we need you at full attention.
We're gonna do a Wonder Woman review after this, and it'll be like a week late. But that's
allegedly fine. Okay. So what are we talking about next? What's wrong with Ken? Why was he so low energy? You feel like his voice couldn't be heard on this thing?
What about Brett?
Brett was great. Apparently, my girlfriend's going to leave me for Brett.
I don't want that to happen.
That was hilarious to me when that happened.
Somebody listens to our show over there. Thank you, Kristian.
Yeah. I think if my girlfriend was going to leave me for anybody, it'd be Kristian. I think she thinks he's a good-looking guy.
He is a good-looking guy.
I agree.
Anyway, Brett, what movie did he review? Exactly. Because his segment was all about him going fucking nuts. And it was amazing. Not only was it amazing, because we always love when he does that. We appreciate it. We love Brett. But the message was so just spot on.
Yeah.
And simple. Quit fucking being shitty to each other on the internet.
It was great. I love the rant. I thought the rant was fantastic. I thought he did a good job under pressure, the time limit pressure. And should we start an Amazon wish list? If Brett Sheridan can have one, should we start one?
I want to give Brett
I was about to say.
Can we give Brett some of that stuff?
For every, I think, should I say this? If you guys buy a t-shirt from SightSoundPod.com,
we're going to get a comment.
I will buy something off of Brett's Amazon wish list.
Maybe we can utilize Brett. Like, Brett, hey.
Brett's supposed to have been on the show for like the past few months.
He's a busy
That's
guy.
your fault.
He's hanging posters. All right, maybe we'll get him on next week. I'll message him. Let's utilize Brett. Let's have Brett be. Let's face it. He's desperate. He's looking for more exposure. Let's get him. Let's get him a part of Sight and Sound, and have him be like the third co-host.
I think he should be the host of your new Sight and Sound movie show.
You want him to be the host?
The co-host. Sorry.
Maybe. We'll talk about it off air. I don't even know where I was going with that. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Anyway, this is what I wanted to say. They were so close to shutting down Brett. I was going to be furious.
I was too.
Oh, my God.
Oh, so Kristian could just come in and just be like you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. He just thinks because he can do an Arnold impression, he can be the new...
You sounded like Trump.
I know.
Were you doing Schwarzenegger?
I was about to say, he does his Schwarzenegger impression and thinks that he's the host of The Apprentice.
I think that was Donald Trump.
Well, he used to host The Apprentice, too. You're fired. Okay, come on.
I'm a cougar.
Get to it. What are we talking about?
My point was going to be, I would have been really pissed if they shut down that entire segment.
Yeah.
I mean, they were planning on just not having...
It's the best segment. They won't let Bread to the Future, won't let whatever Ace's anime segment is on air.
They talked about doing... Kristian, this was a Schmoeville podcast exclusive, and they never talked about it, but Scott Mance was supposed to be doing a profile segment with some directors. That never came to fruition. Sasha's Indie Picks.
I'm going to have to give them the same stuff that I give you. Stop coming up with ideas that you don't follow through with.
Exactly. Learn from Snelling. I don't know.
That's right.
I don't have notes. Do we have anything else to talk about?
No history lesson this week, but I do want to say this. I sort of speculated on pre-Schmoe.
Oh, boy.
Is Kristian Harloff turning over a new leaf in terms of television? I once gave Kristian the title of Kristian Hates Television because of my first ever time of watching the Schmoes Know live show. And he's still on like episode 1, I think, of the OA. He's still on season 2 of Dexter.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kristian finished The Leftovers. Where the hell did that come from?
He binged it. Like,
I know.
It hasn't been that long.
Just because Justin Theroux's going to be in The Last Jedi, got to watch it. Next thing you know, he's going to be a Mr. Robot expert because Sam Esmail's writing the Obi-Wan movie.
Dear God, I hope not. I think Kristian...
Guys, welcome to TV Talk. My name's Kristian Harloff. Let's talk about Sam Esmail.
No, I'm the host of TV Talk.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, my favorite thing that came from that whole conversation about Kristian watching The Leftovers was when you sent him that text message, his response, I've seen 45 minutes of it, not loving it. Hashtag not loving it is my new favorite thing.
For Kristian?
Yes, it's replaced Kristian Hates TV. And he also watched the new Showtime show,
the
I'm Dying
show.
Up Here, and talked about wanting to get back into stand-up.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was just about to say that Kristian's being weird. He's not being.
What is this?
He's not being
Some midlife
2017.
crisis?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We're on the same page with this. This isn't 2017 Harloff anymore. I think he's trying to go back in time. He wants.
I'm going to start a movie trivia league. I'm going to go back to the live show.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a sports car. I'm going to adopt
What if-
Brett Sheridan.
What if that's his next announcement, that he bought a convertible? He got a convertible, which would be fine. It's LA. It's gorgeous.
We got like a Vespa or something. Ride around LA on a Vespa.
I don't know what Kristian's going through, but have you seen Kristian Harloff stand up? It's good.
I watched the video he posted.
It's
I talked
good.
about it on pre-Schmoe.
Is that
You obviously
did he
didn't watch
post
it.
the one that I've seen his stand up?
No, I'm talking about pre-Schmoe.
Always watch the last minute. Is that the stand up where he talks about the guy being gay?
Yes.
Like for being gay making sense?
Yeah.
It's a great bit. Great bit.
Great bit.
I would
Timeless bit.
I would absolutely love to see Kristian do stand up again. I don't know if I will get that opportunity because I don't think it.
Let's sell enough Sight and Sound shirts so that we can put on an event, here in Kentucky, where we bring out Mark Ellis and Kristian Harloff and Josh McCouga to do stand-up comedy. We'll do a live
And Ken.
and Brett. We'll do a live we'll do a live Schmoes No comedy show. We'll do like a live podcast.
Not only will that never happen, the only way that Kristian Harloff would ever come to Kentucky for me is if I was on my deathbed and I requested it.
I think we need,
And maybe not even that.
they probably talked about this. I think they need a Schmoes No con, a Schmoecon, a convention weekend thing where people come, they do some Schmoedown stuff. We get the SK Plus podcast to do live stuff, stand up from all these people that have done stand up in the past and that do stand up. Brett does. Is this the greatest idea that's ever come up in ever? They need a Schmoecon. They need something for the fans to gather.
So basically what you're suggesting is that they celebrate, like they rent out like a conference hall or something from a hotel.
Yeah, something small.
They have everyone in SK Plus, the Schmoe family, get together and they just do stuff. They talk, they record their shows.
They do
in
live
front of a live
podcasts.
audience.
Yeah, absolutely. They do some stand up. They hang out. They party.
Meet and
maybe
greets.
bring some bands. Get RB3 on the ones and twos.
Is that binary? What is it?
Ones and twos. Those are turntables. It's scratching the ones and twos.
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And that would give us a reason to actually get to go.
Absolutely.
But I mean, they can't approve our production budget here. So how are they going to buy us the plane tickets?
They're going to say, "Hey guys, you have a spot on the bill, but you have to fly yourselves out here to bring your own equipment.
We're going to have to
and by the way, you are the guys that are in charge for like bringing everybody water. Like they're going to make us work while we're there."
What's Ace going to do?
Well, he's going to, I don't know. He's probably not going to get to do anything.
The people in town are going to see me and you. We're going to have like a car wash at the Walmart parking lot. And it'll be like, for the Schmoecon.
It's Costco in California.
Talking about here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Raising
People are going to
money.
be like, what's that?
Anyway.
Anyways, this has gone crazy. We didn't talk about this, so I'm going to introduce it here with
I don't remember anything else. Kristian took over.
I have an idea that I want to pitch people. If you guys are still listening or still watching, God bless you, or whatever religion you are. I want to start a Schmoes No live show fantasy game. Okay? We talked about this before. You didn't really pay attention much to when I pitched it to you, but I'm making it happen. How does this work, you ask? Well, Ryan and I, and you guys can play along at home, but Ryan and I, we are going to draft a 5-person team every single week. We'd flip a coin for who goes first in the draft. And the way this works, each person will have a team. The way you score points on this, if somebody on your team is on the show, you get a point. If they sit at the main table, you get a point. If they play a game, you get a point. If they win the game, you get a point. And if they finish the show, if they sit at the table for the entirety of the show, you also get a point. So that's how you get it. Possible of 5 points per person.
What's the point?
What's the point? It's fun, and that's how it's going to go. So,
does anybody still play Fantasy Schmoedown?
I don't know. I have
Does
no
anybody
idea.
still do that?
I don't know. Don't be a dong. Stop
I'm just
shitting
being a
on
dog.
people.
I don't hear about people doing it.
Okay, so let's draft our teams. You can go first. Who's your first pick to be on your team?
I feel like this isn't fair because
Just play the game. Just don't question it. Just play the game. Who's your first pick?
this game sucks.
Just play the fucking game.
Mark Ellis.
Okay, Mark Ellis is your first pick. I don't know if he's going to be on next week, but Ken Knapsack is my next pick. Who's two?
Kristian Harloff.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm going to pick Brett Sheridan.
Joel Monique.
It's a good one. I'm going to go Cobster for 3.
Beardo. No. RB3.
RB3. Okay. I'm going to go Josh McCouga.
Riley.
That's a wild card. I'm going to go with, for my last pick, Emma Fife.
Okay.
So that's our teams.
I picked a woman before Jay did. I want that to be noted.
And that's great. And if they don't show up, obviously you don't get any points. But if you guys want to play with us,
That's also accurate.
let's close out the show. I want to talk about this, the future.
The future is that Kristian has not only set a precedent and an expectation, but he's also just announced. So this isn't really speculation. He thinks he's back. So
That's what he says.
That's why I picked him to be on my team. I'm thrilled. I think the show automatically had. You talked about how you like the Toad Hop radio feel. Every time Kristian is on, he automatically takes it in that direction. I feel like just the attitude that he brings and what he brings out of the other people. So I'm really interested in getting back to that point, and not to take anything away from what Ellis has accomplished the past few months, but those are the Schmoes. I mean, that's Kristian and Mark. That's them in their element. That's what I'm looking forward to.
He has an interesting dynamic of wanting to keep the show on track, but also forcing it to go a little nutty from time to time.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think that's fascinating to always witness.
But
you think this is the future? You think he's on the show going forward?
I do.
You don't think we're gonna get him maybe twice a month?
Did they ever vocally say why they brought the show an hour earlier?
They said that they had always wanted to do that, but in that time slot actually opened up. They being
Kristian
Cobster,
and Mark,
and Cobster,
right?
yeah.
There were Schmoebillions that are out there, and they're a lot smarter than me that predicted it. Specifically, our boy Ilja, Screen Geek, he predicted on pre-Schmoe before the show even started that's why that he figured that Kristian and all of them behind the scenes did that on purpose. So good call.
Yeah, I had mentioned that I think on pre-Schmoe the fact that the show essentially, I mean, it starts at 6:00 West Coast time,
correct?
And I don't even know when their workday ends at Collider. I mean, Kristian had talked before about not leaving work until about 6 or 7 from time to time. So, I mean, it literally could be, hey, workdays ended, let's go do the show. As opposed to maybe workdays ended, let's stick around and wait for the show to start. I don't know. It's interesting. I'd love to talk to somebody about it if anybody wants to come to Kentucky, be on camera with us.
But we're not taking guests.
We're not taking guests.
Unless you're a Schmoes, no personality.
No guests.
There are no guests on this podcast.
Trivia question real quick. Do you know who the only person was on last night's show to finish the entire show at the main table?
Ken,
that's 100% right. But he did not win the game, so he would have only got 4 points in our fantasy thing. Let's get out of here.
Jaye Williams, what do you have to plug? Where can the people find you online?
You can find me at Jaye Williams, J to the A to the Y to the E. It's the same for both on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me doing my music show on Sight and Sound, wherever podcasts are found. That music show comes out every single Friday. And make sure to check out our YouTube channel. I mean, if you like looking at us, why not look at us a little bit more? All you're going to see are my music reviews because Ryan's not filming videos right now.
And Schmoedown reactions. We got one coming up this Friday.
To time. Do we? I'm probably not going to be able to do that. You're probably going to have to do that solo.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WhatUpSnow. I'm really trying to beef up my Instagram, so come hang out with me over there. I'm also teetering in and out of 1,000 followers. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's get me there.
Let's do it.
I appreciate it. And I've been having a lot of fun this week, specifically talking to a lot of you guys, because I've been having a lot of good movie chats with all of you. So I greatly appreciate it. Again, we talked about going to sightsoundpod.com for those Sight and Sound t-shirts. And we just released, look, here's my final thought on Sight and Sound this week. We just put up on SK Plus an episode called Sight and Sound After Party, which is an episode variation that we just get to talk about whatever we want. You'll see in the title, we talk about staycations, creative control, favorite podcasts. We put that up in place of Sight and Sound Weekly because we skipped weekly this week. Go check it out and let me know what you think. Again, it's on the SK Plus YouTube channel, not the Schmoedown podcast feed, because it's something. It's not different for us, but it's different for you guys. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And that's all.
That's it. You ain't got anything else?
No.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Bye-bye.